Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing good at home. Myself, Praveen Kumar KP from Physics Department, GSIPU College, Mysore. I welcome you all for the first PUC Physics class. In this class, I am not going into the syllabus of first PUC Physics, but instead, I will discuss some of the basic concepts which you have already learnt in your previous classes. I hope some of you are from Kannada medium background, so my discussion will be both in Kannada and English. First of all, let me tell you what are the concepts that I am going to cover in this class. ನಾನು ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಿಮಗೆ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಬರಿತೀನಿ. These are some of the basic concepts in kinetics you have to learn. Rest and motion, distance and displacement, speed and velocity, uniform motion and accelerated motion. Before going into this class, let me tell you one thing. PU board ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು NCERT ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಿರೋವಂಥದ್ದು, ನೀವು ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ 9th ಇರ್ಬೋದು 10th ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಿರೋವಂಥದ್ದು ಕೂಡ NCERT ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಏನೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಅದೇ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ NCERT ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ PCMB NCERT ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋಂಥ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅಥವಾ NCERT ಬುಕ್ಸ್ಗಳು ನನಗೆ ಓದೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬುಕ್ಗಳು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ದಲ್ಲೇ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ದಿನೇಶ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್, ಪ್ರದೀಪ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಬಾಸ್ಕೋಸ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಓದ್ಕೊತ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ NCERT ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓದೋದ್ರಿಂದ, NCERT ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ಸನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಯೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ NCERTನೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನೀವು NCERT ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ತುಂಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು. ನೋಡೋಣ, ಈಗ ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋಷನ್, ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸಲರೇಟೆಡ್ ಮೋಷನ್, ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ನ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್, ವಾಟ್ ಡು ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ and what is motion? I will write the definition for rest. If an object is said to be at rest, we say that its position is not changing with time. Suppose if you consider a very simple example for this. A book kept on a table remains at a fixed position. Because its position is not changing, we can say that the book is at rest. Or another example for this, a wall of building or even a building, trees, so they are all said to be at rest because their positions are fixed. ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ಕಾಣ್ತುವಂಥ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಮರಗಿಡಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದರ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಟ್ rest. So rest state is nothing but position is not changing. Next we'll come on to the motion. What do you mean by motion? So it is just opposite to rest. If an object is said to be in motion if its position is changing with time. Very simple example, motion of vehicles on the road. You can see the position is continuously changing with time. That is why those objects are under motion. And even our earth, our planet, is also changing its position with respect to time. So that even all the planets around the sun, they are moving, they are continuously moving. Therefore, we can say that a motion is a state where the position of an object is changing with time. So to describe rest and motion or to define rest and motion, the important word or a key word is position. If the position of an object is remaining fixed, it is not changing, means the object is at rest. If the position of an object is changing, then we can say that the object is in motion. A motion can be of three types. You can observe in nature. We have a straight line motion, a linear motion. Motion of vehicles is an example for linear motion. Or motion of train on a track, that may be a straight line motion or a linear motion. Then we can see circular motion. The motion of planets, you can see. The motion of electron around the nucleus, you have learned that. That is a circular motion. And even we can see oscillatory motion, motion of a simple pendulum. So that we will learn in the next classes. Next, we will move on to the next topic, distance and displacement. To describe any kind of motion, we need a frame of reference. What is frame of reference? Consider three set of coordinates which are mutually perpendicular to each other. I will say this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. So three mutually perpendicular coordinates. So this is what we call as a frame of reference. So in order to describe the motion, we need this frame of reference. Suppose if we take a linear motion, a straight line motion. For describing the straight line motion, I need only one coordinate. I need not to worry about these two coordinates. I need only one coordinate. Andre linear motion ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಮೋಷನ್ನ ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ನ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಐದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ವೈ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ಝೆಡ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್, ಬಟ್ I need only one coordinate to describe the motion in straight line. So in this class I am going to talk about a motion of an object in a straight line or linear motion. ನಾವು ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನೋಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಈ ಎರಡು ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನನಗೆ ಒಂದೇ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಸಾಕು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎನಫ್. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇವೆರಡು ನಡೆಸ್ಬಿಡೋಣ. ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ದಿಸ್. Now this is the coordinate along x-axis. Let us fix this position as origin. This is the origin where the position is 0. Position is 0. Towards the right side, I will mark the positions as 10, 20, 30, likewise. And towards the left hand side of the origin, we have to mark it as -10, -20, -30. So this is a reference point. We can call this as origin. So towards the right side of the origin, we should mark the positions as positive. They are positive. Plus 10 meter, I mean if the length is in meter. So this is 10, 20, 30, likewise. Towards the left hand side of the origin, the positions are -10 meter, -20 meter, -30 meter, likewise. Now let me mark this position as O. Already we have marked this, and I am saying this is A, this is B, and somewhere here we have C. Now what is a distance? Distance traveled. Let us understand what is distance. Distance andre ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೋಡಬೇಕು ಇವಾಗ. Let an object is here at the origin initially, and it has started its motion from the origin. It has moved to A, then to B, again comes back to A. I will write the path of this. An object is starting its motion from O, origin, and it has moved to position A, then to B, and again coming back to the position A. This is the path of an object. Then how do we calculate the distance traveled here? How do we calculate the distance traveled? O to A, it has traveled 10 meter. A to B, again it has traveled 10 meter. So the total it becomes 20 meter. Now the object is covering from B to A. The distance is covered from B to A. So while going from B to A, it has to cover again a 10 meter distance. So what happens to the total distance? Total distance traveled will be 30 meter. 30 meter. See, distance traveled is nothing but the total length of the path covered. we have to calculate the length. O to A 10 meter, A to B 10 meter, so 20 meter, then again B to A 10 meter again, so 30 meter. So the distance traveled is nothing but total length of the path. So that is why distance is written as 30 meter there. For the same path, let me tell another quantity called displacement. Displacement. Now we have to be very careful about this. What is displacement? See, in order to find the displacement or in order to define the displacement, we need only two positions. Only two positions. Displacement ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಎರಡು ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ನ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವುದು? What is the final position and what is its initial position? See, the object is traveling from O to A to B, again from B to A. Then the final position is nothing but A. Correct? Final position ಯಾವುದು ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ? A ಅನ್ನೋದು final position. What is its initial position? It is nothing but origin, O. So, displacement is nothing but final position minus initial position. Final position minus initial position. So for the same path, final position is A, which is nothing but 10 meter. Let me write that, 10 meter minus initial position. It is origin, therefore it is 0 meter. So 0 meter. So if we take this difference, we get 10 meter. So displacement is equal to 10 meter. See, you can see the difference between distance and displacement here. The path is same, but distance is different from displacement. So let us define them, or let us find the difference between them. Distance traveled is nothing but total length of the path from O to A to B, again to A. The total length becomes 30 meter. But if I want displacement, I need to look at only two positions. What are those? Final position and initial position. If you take the difference between them, final position minus initial position, that becomes a displacement. That is what a displacement is. If I give another path, one more path, let us look at this path. OC. If I want the distance of this path, distance from O to C, the distance is nothing but 20 meter. We need not to look at the negative sign there. We need not look at the direction where the object has traveled. But what I need is only the length of that path. You know that length cannot be negative. Length cannot be negative. Length ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮೈನಸ್ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಲೆಂತ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಪಾತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓ ಇಂದ ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಲೆಂತ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು -20 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬಾರ್ದು. ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಾದ್ರೆ 20 ಮೀಟರ್. It has traveled a distance of 20 meter in the left hand side of the origin. That's it. So the distance in this path is equal to, distance in this path will be 20 meter. If I find the displacement, let us use the same convention. So I have defined displacement as final position minus initial position. Displacement ನ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು, ಫೈನಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಫೈನಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಯಾವುದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ದು? -20. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ -20 ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಓ ಇಂದ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 0 ಮೀಟರ್. ಸೊ -20 minus 0 is -20 meter. So displacement is -20 meter. Therefore, in order to find the displacement or in order to describe the displacement, we need to look at the direction. So distance is not having any direction, but displacement has a direction. That is what the difference between distance and displacement. Now, let me write another path where the positions are marked as A and B. The distance between these two points is A. These 2 points is A. Let us imagine an object is started from A. A and a point in the object to motion start madide. It has reached to point B. B ಗೆ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? B ಇಂದ A ಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Path is nothing but A to B, again coming back to A. Here, let us find out what are the distance and displacement. Distance traveled. From A to B, it has to cover a distance of A. From B to A, again it has to cover a distance of A, because we are calculating what is the length of the path. So, A to B, the length is A. Again from B to A, the length is A. So that A plus A, distance traveled, is equal to 2A. Let us find the displacement now. Displacement, I will use the same definition again. Final position minus initial position. For this path, initial position is A, final position is also A. ಈ path ಅಲ್ಲಿ initial position ಕೂಡ A ನೇ, final position ಕೂಡ A ನೇ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಎರಡನ್ನು ನಾನು ಸಬ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು? Displacement must be equal to 0. If it is reaching the same point, means initial position and final positions are same, so that the displacement becomes 0. So displacement can be 0, but distance never be 0. This is what you have learned in your previous classes. So let us conclude what is distance and displacement. Distance traveled ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Distance is total length of the path covered, and displacement is final position minus initial position. Now we will move on to the next topic, speed and velocity. First, let us understand what is speed. Speed andre ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ ಈಗ. Imagine a situation where the two runners were running towards the target of 100 meter. After some time, what happens is, they are person A and person B. Person B is ahead of A. B ಅನ್ನೋ person A ಗಿಂತ ಮುಂದೆ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋಂಥ ಟೈಮ್ ಒಂದೇನೆ. The time is same, but person B has traveled more distance than A. So we can clearly say person B can win the race. Person B can win the race because his speed is more than A. Finally, he becomes a winner. But a person B has covered a distance rapidly or more fastly. So, what is a speed? Speed is how fast a distance is covered or how rapidly a distance is covered. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಅವನು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೋ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಹೌ ಟು ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ನಾವು? ಸೊ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ಡ್ per unit time. Distance traveled per unit time. So here a person B is announced as a winner because he has a more speed than A, which means he has covered the distance in a lesser time. That is why his speed is more. So that we can write an equation for speed. Speed is equal to distance divided by time. Distance divided by time. Then what do we mean by a velocity? So you can simply define velocity as it is speed with direction. So we need to look at the direction now. So you have learned that distance and displacement, in between those two, displacement has a direction, distance never has a direction. So in order to define the velocity, velocity is nothing but rate of displacement. Let me write an equation for velocity. Velocity is displacement divided by time. So speed with direction becomes a velocity. Both are, speed and velocity, are having a common unit, which is meter per second. So if you look at them, you can clearly conclude that speed never has a direction. But velocity is having a direction. Yes. Now we'll move on to the next topic, uniform motion and accelerated motion. Uniform motion and accelerated motion. First, we will consider uniform motion. Uniform motion andre ಏನು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. I will consider a very simple example for this. We know that Earth is rotating about its own axis and also it is revoluting the sun. Earth ತನ್ನ ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ಸುತ್ತುತ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಸುತ್ತುತ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Earth take 24 hours to complete a day. ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ 24 ಗಂಟೆ ಟೈಮ್ನ ಅದು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಸುತ್ತ ಒಂದು ಸುತ್ತೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ 365 ದಿನಗಳನ್ನ ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮೋಷನ್. ಈ ಒಂದು ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ತನ್ನ ಸುತ್ತೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಸುತ್ತೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆ ಒಂದು ಇವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೊದಲಿಂದನೂ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಇದೆ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲೂ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮೋಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ದ ಸನ್ ಆರ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಆರ್ ಈವನ್ the planets which are revolving around the sun, they are all uniform motions. If you want to understand this still clearly, let me consider a path of 100 meter. Let me divide the path into 5 equal parts. So each division is of 20 meter. So totally this will be 100 meter. Imagine an object has started its motion from this point and from here to here, in order to cover the first 20 meter, the object has taken 2 seconds. Next, from here to here, again it has taken 2 seconds. Next, from here to here, 2 seconds, here to here 2 seconds, and finally 2 seconds. So let me calculate what is the speed of an object at every part. Here we know that speed, we have just defined the speed. Speed ಅನ್ನು ಇವಾಗ ತಾನೇ ನಾವು ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಏನಂತ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ? Speed is distance traveled divided by time. Correct? Distance traveled divided by time. Distance traveled here is 20 meter and time taken is 2 seconds. So 20 meter by 2 seconds, so that this becomes 10 meter per second. Next, for this particular division, again the length is 20 meter, time taken is 2 seconds. If we calculate the same thing for the second part, again it is 20 meter by 2 seconds, so we will get 10 meter per second. So if we calculate speed for every part of this total distance, the quantity called speed is remaining constant. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪಾತ್ಗಳಿಗೂ ನಾನು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಸೇಮ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, 10 ಮೀಟರ್ per second ಬರುತ್ತೆ. I will define uniform motion based on this. Then what is uniform motion? If the speed of an object remains constant during the motion is said to be uniform motion. If the speed remains constant, the motion is uniform. That's it. So uniform motion is very simply defined by saying that a speed of an object is remaining constant. Next, what is accelerated motion then? What is accelerated motion? If speed of an object is varying, speed of an object is changing, then we can say that motion is accelerated motion. So you can define uniform motion and accelerated motion based on the keyword speed. If the speed is remaining constant, we can say that motion is uniform motion. If the speed is varying, then the motion is accelerated motion. Let me consider a simple example for accelerated motion. I have an object with me and I will throw this object in the vertical direction. I will throw this object in the vertical direction. What happens is, when I throw the object through my hand, initially the object has more speed. So it will move with certain speed and it will decrease speed, and finally when it reaches to a maximum height, the speed becomes 0. It reverses its direction, again comes back to the ground. Initially it has less speed, and while falling towards the ground, its speed increases. So this motion is nothing but an accelerated motion. By this example, what we can conclude is, an accelerated motion is a kind of motion where speed is varying. Either speed may increase or speed may decrease. We can say that the motion is an accelerated motion. Yes, so what we have learned in this class is the concept of rest and motion. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೋಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ. Rest is the state where the position of an object is fixed, which is not changing with time. And motion is the thing where the object is changing its position with time. Then we have learned what is distance traveled and displacement. Distance traveled is length of the path traveled, and displacement is final position minus initial position. And then we have learned what is speed and velocity. Speed is the distance traveled by an object per unit time, and velocity is speed with direction. We can say that velocity is a rate of change of displacement. And finally we have learned what is uniform motion and accelerated motion. Speed constant idre uniform motion, speed vary ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು accelerated motion anta karitivi. So these are the things we have covered in this class. So that's all from this session. We will see in the next session some more basic concepts of physics. Thank you.